Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Brandi Glanville and the beauty hack catastrophe. The Real Housewives of Orange County has long been a series synonymous with glamour, opulence, and of course, drama. But few fans could have anticipated the scandal that Alexis Bellino and Carlos King would expose, a tale so wild that it seemed almost too outrageous to be true. Behind the perfectly manicured facades and luxurious mansions lies a secret world of indulgence that the cameras rarely capture until now. It all began during a seemingly routine reunion episode. Alexis, whose fiery temperament and outspoken nature had made her a fan favorite over the years, had been unusually reserved during the early hours of the taping. But whispers behind the scenes hinted at a story she'd been sitting on for years. One that involved the infamous Naked Wasted Party, a gathering that would go down in Housewives history. Carlos King, the veteran reality TV producer known for his uncanny ability to capture the juiciest moments without the audience ever suspecting, sat down with Alexis in a private room, far away from the glitzy cameras and live audience. "You have to tell them everything," Carlos urged. "People need to know what really happens." Alexis hesitated, memories of tequila shots, late-night chaos, and wardrobe malfunctions flashing through her mind. But the decision had been made. Some stories were too big to keep quiet. As Alexis recounted the infamous night, the details were almost cinematic. It started innocently enough, with a casual invitation to a private mansion in Newport Beach. The guest list was a who's who of the OC elite, and the atmosphere promised sophistication. But as the night wore on, the veneer of refinement melted away. Alcohol flowed freely, champagne, tequila, cocktails mixed with reckless abandon. Laughter echoed through the marble hallways, but it was soon replaced by shrieks, gasps, and the unmistakable sound of glass breaking. And then it happened. Alexis whispered, a mixture of embarrassment and incredulity in her eyes. People started taking their clothes off. Not just a little, everything. And no one even noticed at first. It was chaos. Carlos leaned in, scribbling notes furiously. "Were there cameras?" he asked carefully. Alexis chuckled nervously. "Oh, always. You can't hide in the OC. Someone was recording, but the footage was meant to be private. Until it wasn't." The tale grew more elaborate with every retelling. Flirty encounters on the balcony, near disasters in the pool, a dessert table that somehow became a centerpiece of questionable activity, and a series of confessions that left even Alexis blushing. But what made the scandal truly explosive wasn't the nudity or the wild behavior. It was the names involved. Housewives, socialites, and high-profile guests all found themselves implicated in moments they had sworn would never see the light of day. Carlos knew the risk of sharing this story was enormous. Lawsuits, career backlash, even public humiliation loomed. But the cultural moment was irresistible. Reality TV fans crave authenticity, and Alexis was offering them the unfiltered truth, a glimpse behind the glossy magazines and perfectly curated Instagram posts. By the time the story hit social media, chaos erupted. Clips from the night, already circulating in hushed circles, began to surface online. Headlines screamed, "Naked Wasted. ROC's most scandalous night finally exposed." Forums buzzed with speculation, memes were born overnight, and fan theories ran rampant. But Alexis and Carlos weren't done. They had more to reveal, secrets about the production, the manipulation, and the behind-the-scenes machinations that had turned a private party into reality television legend. Through it all, Alexis maintained her signature poise, mixing candid honesty with humor. "I may have been embarrassed," she admitted in a later interview, "but someone had to tell the story. If not me, who?" Her words resonated. Fans appreciated the courage it took to come forward, to peel back the layers of reality TV artifice and reveal the raw, messy humanity beneath. The sun had just dipped below the Newport Beach horizon, casting an amber glow over the manicured lawns and infinity pools of Orange County's elite. Inside one particularly lavish mansion, a party was quietly reaching a fever pitch. It was the kind of event the public rarely glimpsed, a gathering of the privileged few who populated the glossy pages of reality TV, and yet, what happened inside these walls would soon reverberate far beyond the confines of the estate. Alexis Bellino, former Real Housewives of Orange County star, had always been known for her fiery personality and candid honesty. But on this night, she became something far more, a witness and later an exposer of one of the most infamous nights in Housewives history. The naked wasted scandal, as it would come to be called, was not merely a wild party, it was a kaleidoscope of chaos, excess, and shocking revelations. And standing alongside her, wielding the pen of truth like a scalpel, was veteran producer Carlos King, known for his unerring eye for drama and his uncanny ability to coax stories from even the most tight-lipped stars. It all began with what seemed like a harmless gathering. The invite promised champagne toasts, private performances, and a night of mingling among OC's glitterati. But Alexis would later describe the energy as electric with anticipation, and a little dangerous. "I remember walking in," Alexis recalled to Carlos in a hushed interview years later, away from cameras and public scrutiny. "It was beautiful. You had these chandeliers, the kind that cost more than most people's houses. The music was perfect. And then, the drinks started flowing, not in a normal way, in a way that made everyone act, not themselves." Carlos nodded, listening intently. How quickly did it get out of control? Alex's eyes widened. Almost immediately. First it was champagne, then cocktails, then shots, and everyone was daring each other to do more. Someone said jokingly, "Why not just strip?" And someone else actually did it. Then others followed, and before I knew it, it wasn't a joke anymore. The party quickly became a swirling spectacle. Housewives, friends, and guests shed layers of clothing as easily as they shed their inhibitions. Poolside flirtations escalated, wine glasses spilled, and in one infamous moment, a dessert table became a playground of misadventure. Alexis, caught somewhere between horror and amusement, tried to maintain some semblance of decorum. But decorum, in the context of Naked Wasted, was a fleeting concept. Carlos, always probing for the real story, asked, "Were there cameras?" Alexis laughed nervously. "Of course there were cameras, you can't hide an OC. But these weren't the kind of cameras you see on TV. They were private. Some guests were recording on their phones, and honestly, some of the footage was kind of shocking, enough to make you question reality TV itself. It wasn't just the nudity or the alcohol-fueled antics that would make headlines, it was the names involved. Housewives, socialites, and high-profile guests all became unwitting participants in a night that defied public decency. Rumors swirled, hinting at flirty encounters on balconies, drunken duets in the pool, and whispered conversations that later evolved into shocking confessions. By the end of the night, the mansion felt less like a party and more like a living reality show, unscripted and unfiltered, raw and chaotic. The next morning, Alexis recounted the scene to Carlos, the details painting a vivid picture. Imagine stepping over champagne bottles, hearing someone laughing so hard they fell into the pool, and seeing people, well, everywhere. Clothes? Optional. Inhibitions? Non-existent. And the craziest part? Everyone acted like it was totally normal. Carlos, who had navigated countless chaotic productions in his career, was astonished. "This isn't just a party," he said. "This is historical." Indeed, the Naked Wasted scandal would go down in Housewives lore. As Alexis and Carlos delved deeper, they uncovered the mechanics of what had allowed such an event to spiral out of control. Production teams, caught between capturing authentic content and managing personal boundaries, had inadvertently encouraged the excess. Cameras were strategically positioned to capture reactions without being intrusive, a method that made the party seem even more surreal. And the housewives themselves, accustomed to curating their public personas, found the environment liberating and dangerous. The fallout was immediate and far-reaching. Social media exploded with speculation. Fans debated endlessly, dissecting every leaked clip and rumored encounter. Memes proliferated at lightning speed. Podcasts devoted entire episodes to analyzing the implications. And in interviews, Alexis and Carlos painted a picture that was at once scandalous, tragic, and fascinating, a world where fame, excess, and human weakness collided in real time.